Holistic and contemporary medical information can lead you to the better life. And now, here's your host, Dr. Mariane Pinkston.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Better Life with Dr. Mariane Pinkston. I am Dr. Mariane Pinkston, and today we are going to talk about something that is big in the news. Everybody's calling me for it, messaging me for it, and I have somebody with me today who's going to hit this hot topic with me, and that is Ray Solano from Cedar Park, Texas, and PD Labs. PD Labs is a compounding pharmacy that has been very supportive of me over the last year, maybe two now, Ray. I don't know, but good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. And thanks for having me on today.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It's always a pleasure. You're always on with me. I guess every third week, every fourth week of the month on a regular basis. You've always got some enlightening and wonderful information for folks. And today I'm particularly happy to address the issue of weight loss because I think everybody has used a lot of different weight loss measures over the last years, phentermine, things like that, which I hate, and I won't even prescribe. But I think weight loss issues have changed. So back in the 80s, 90s, a little overweight, adjust your calories, start walking, it comes off. Now that doesn't work that way anymore. It's very difficult to lose weight. So we've got a better solution. What do you have for us today?
Well, I think the first thing is that people, weight loss starts in the brain and also the individual psyche. That's where the set points start. And I tell people the first thing is it's almost not your fault. So
really?
Take out the guilt part. Yes. Because I think you, as you well know, it's if you're not happy with your appearance, you feel it's your fault.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's not. There is some chemistry that is involved. There's external factors that are involved that your body forces itself to accumulate excessive amount of fat and doesn't burn correctly.
Right.
So we get the guilt part of it out of it, and then the people go, oh, okay. And so now the next step is to how do you retune your metabolic system, your energy furnaces, so that it can fix itself. So the end game is you're going to be able to look the way you feel, the way you want to feel. You also want to be able to eat what you want to eat and live a normal life. So that's the end game. To get to that point, it's going to take some work. It's just like you would do physical therapy. There's going to be effort that's involved.
Yes.
And there's going to be some lifestyle changes that you have to go through. So everybody wants a pill, right? Yeah. Everybody wants to get
quick fix.
Mm-hmm. And there are plenty of those out there, and it's been going on for centuries.
Sure.
And pharmaceuticals have been used, and it was starting back with amphetamines, and but there's always side effects.
Yes.
Okay. So here we go again. We do have some very good pharmaceuticals that are much different than they've ever done before.
Yes, finally.
That just don't increase your body's epinephrine and your adrenal functions to increase your burn rate. They work on a cellular basis with the brain to stop the eating or you're feeling hunger. So It works centrally on the brain and also works on your pancreas. So they're very targeted drugs. Which is great.
Yes.
For people there's really no excuse today for people that are hundreds of pounds overweight, that are living their life in misery. So the great thing is mainstream medicine has picked up on this, and which was a diabetes drug is now become weight loss medications. Mm-hmm. So we got some good classifications for that. But guess what?
Yeah.
People just didn't start this. There's a fundamental reason why you got to that point. I feel that many of the chronic viruses that we've had in these COVID-19 illnesses and all of the therapies surrounding it has had a tremendous disruption in blood sugar regulations and type 2 diabetes. And so this has caused, I think, an enormous weight loss that's unfortunately difficult to understand where it started from. So once we understand some of that, we have to realize there are some fundamental things that we have to understand about our lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And you cannot ever start any weight reduction program without opening up the channels to get the trash out. How's that sound?
That sounds perfect. You're right.
So you know that if you're melting 60 to 80 pounds of fat, that's a depot of toxins.
Yes, it
that
is.
have to be removed. So your body removes them very efficiently. However, some of them get stuck in areas in lymphatic channels that you just are blocked.
Right.
So I think it's important before you start any weight loss program, you have to get healthy before you even do it. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think along that lines too, with the viruses and all, I think just our bodies are so different as a whole. The food industry over the last 20 to 30 years has changed so dramatically, and our consumption of foods has drastically changed more into, heavy carbohydrates, but not just carbs. Carbs are okay. I keep trying to tell people carbs are okay, but the starches and the processed foods, the boxed foods, the heavy pastas, heavy breads, just those are fillers. Those aren't really foods. They're just fillers.
They're dead foods.
All of those things add to it. Absolutely.
They serve no purpose, and unfortunately, we're not taught how to eat. So the first thing you do is you got to tell people, all right, well, we're going to teach you how to eat.
Yes.
And they said, well, I just want to lose some weight. Okay. If you really want to lose weight and keep it off and have a lifestyle change that you don't go back to it, then you've got to make these choices of foods, changing your diet forever. I think it's important to realize processed foods are not your friend.
Right.
Alcohol binge parties are not the way to live your lifestyle. Sweets and having every single meal consumed with a sugar that is not, your body doesn't understand what to do with it, is something you just have to realize where the minefields are. And it's just those basic things that people need to understand. And also many times some people have intolerance to foods. I don't call them allergies, but you can call them allergies.
Sensitivities, maybe.
Sensitivities that they can't eat. The body somehow reacts to it in an inflamed situation, and it causes bloating, it causes weight gain, it causes my joints to hurt. So all these things your body have to be in tune to. So I think this, before we do these marvelous new medications, I think it's important to change the diet beforehand, and get rid of the inflammation, and start to process a very hypoallergenic diet beforehand.
Well, you mentioned something very important, though, about the brain being involved here and how these medications affect the brain. So I want to touch base on that just a bit, because I think in overeating the carbohydrates, we get into a craving, increases dopamine in the brain, which is what the pleasure center, which brings us back into a cycle of craving and an addiction, really. And so with these medications, they do work on that center to help decrease the cravings, and that's something different than phentermine doesn't necessarily do that, or any of the other drugs. So I think that they're called the GLP-1s. They're a peptide. It's actually something we stop making in our bodies. We have GLP, there's two medications. One is a GLP, one's a GLP plus GIP. All of those are peptides that we make, and we stop making them, and that's a part of that craving cycle. Would you agree?
Exactly. And this is the part of that targeted, going to these individual peptides that link to the hypothalamus that tell them that you're full.
Right.
And unfortunately, sometimes if you don't have the right medication regimen, people can get feel too full or nauseous.
Yes.
So
too high of a dose, just start really low and creep up.
It's not the drug, it's the dose.
Yeah.
So and so this is, and then there's some different medications that we can reduce it. So there's a cornucopia of different drugs that can match to the body's best metabolic state. So don't give up.
Absolutely don't. And this is something that I used back. I was 300 pounds at one point and lost the weight. This was one of the tools that I used because I did develop diabetes. Unfortunately, right now with the pharmaceutical side of things, you have to have the diagnosis of diabetes to get these medications. But you and I know that now you don't. With the compounding side, it can be compounded and you can get this for weight loss. And so that is available now, and I'm doing that. You and I are doing that too together. But, on that note, I did that. I did the daily one, the old Victoza, and I did the daily one for a while. Now it's once a week, but that was a fantastic tool. As being diabetic, and I did crave the carbs terribly, and I ate a ton of carbs daily, high calorie amounts, and that was exceedingly helpful in bringing down my hunger and allowing my body. It's not just the hunger, it's also the inflammation in the body that drives this, and this helps to turn around that inflammatory mode. And that's where we're in trouble these days, I think, too, with the inflammation in our bodies. A lot of other meds don't help to kick that inflammation. These meds do, and that's where we're able to finally get the body to kick in. So it's a jump start. It is. It's
jump start.
It is. It's turning around an inflammatory process in the body. We get that turned around, and then our bodies, respond to what we're doing lifestyle-wise. People will say, "I've been trying to lose weight and I can't lose anything." Now you're trying will allow you to lose that big jump start. You can lose up to I see maximum about 40 pounds or so. Sometimes people go 50 or 60, maximum about 40. And then typically it slows and doesn't work quite as well, but it still helps with the hunger side, and your efforts continue the weight loss. But 40 pounds is a fantastic jump start. It's not guaranteed, but it's a fantastic jump start for people.
Well, one thing that's going to be different about the program that we're going to be, you're going to be offering, we're going to be offering, is it's going to overlap with what I'd like is the metabolic code diet that has been developed by Jim Laval and Laura Laval.
Yes.
That fixes the foundational problems that we mentioned over and over again here.
Absolutely.
Because all of the studies that show that the weight comes back again as soon as the injections stop. Okay, so nobody wants that to occur because, remember, the brain feels that they gain 1 or 2 pounds back again, they're going to revert back to their psyche of being 60 to 80 pounds overweight. And so that elevation of their appearance goes away.
Right.
So it's really important that understanding these food groups and following the metabolic code diet at the same time that you're doing these injections, I think will be the best insurance that you will never go back to that weight again. And so that's what we like to do is change it on a cellular basis, open up those detoxification pathways so that the waste can be eliminated. And then also those food choices that you make that your body, it puts them in a super mode, a super energetic mode for the long term.
Absolutely.
Now, that doesn't mean you can't do excursions, you can't have fun with families, you can't have certain celebrations, but you don't do it every day. And so this is the thing that people need to understand is that you can control the way you look and the way you feel, but you got to give people the tools to make those changes.
Absolutely. You are so correct. And that is something that took me 13 years to learn. I spent 13 years obese, and it took me 13 years to learn that I have a bag of tools And I have to keep you, even it's 5 years later now, almost 6 years later, and I'm still using those tools. I just go through them and use them at different times for different reasons. But, my whole attitude about food changed. And I think most people are okay with that, but they need a little push, a little help getting that change to occur. Right. And so something like this does help that finally. And so it's wonderful that we have that tool. We are sliding in on the break now, Ray. It's incredible. Okay. How can people get in touch with you? How can they do Metabolic Code? How can they do this? How can we set this up for them?
Well, it's important to give us a call at 512-219-0724. We can connect you with our professionals to get you started. Maybe some questionnaires to see if you qualify. Mm-hmm. And definitely check out our website, pdlabsrx.com. That's pdlabsrx.com.
Yes.
We can be able to make it simple for you. We have lots of choices, but one observation I can make. I was at Las Vegas last week, just like you were, for a conference, mm-hmm. and the line for the Starbucks, not coffee, I call them just dessert drinks for breakfast, was so long I couldn't even see the end of it.
Absolutely.
But right next to it was a juice shop that was selling healthy breakfast drinks, and it had no line in it. There was 2 people in it, and I go, and you know what? This has got to change.
Something is wrong here.
Something is wrong when we think that the things that are most healthy mm-hmm. for you just don't want.
Yeah, it's true. It's that addiction. It's that craving. It's that brain telling you need more dopamine. And so, got to work on that.
Give me some sugar and some caffeine and some high fats.
That's right.
I'll get recharged.
I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Well, and so on that note of being able to reach out to you guys for Metabolic Code, you can also find all of this information on my website. So go to drpbetterlife.com. All of their information is there, and how to reach out to us and get this process started. And my information about my clinic and whatnot, drpbetterlife.com. Remember, not just on San Antonio radio, but we are on YouTube and all of the platforms for podcasting. So you can find us iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all of these, Heart Radio, and we are on everything. So drpbetterlife.com. Ray, we're going to take a minute here to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Ray Solano with your Healthy Choices Minute, sponsored by Prescription Dispensing Labs. New research has concluded that implementing dietary changes could prevent gut inflammatory processes involved in some chronic diseases. Modulation of your gut microbes through diets enriched with vegetables, legumes, grains, nuts, and a higher intake of plant over animal foods has a potential to prevent intestinal inflammatory conditions at the core of many chronic diseases. In short, the foods we eat and our dietary patterns have a major influence on our immune system that can cause many conditions we are suffering from today. Solution: try our OptiMeal shake. Our team has developed the best tasting, healthiest shake you've ever experienced to control blood sugar and to improve your gut. Start your day today with a healthy choice. Call us today at 888-909-0110 for a free sample of the OptiMeal shake. 888-909-0110. Remember, you have a choice in healthcare.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Mariane Pinkston here with Ray Solano from PD Labs. We are talking about the weight loss shot, which I covered in a show a couple weeks ago, but we are pushing this a little bit forward now. And I think, Ray, we need to touch on how what we're offering is a little bit different, because there is that GLP medication in there and the GIP and the 2 meds that are offered for diabetics, but now we're able to offer it for weight loss. Part of the reason we're able to offer it that way is because it's combined with something else that makes it safer, better, and much easier to use and get results, and that is the BPC 157. Can you explain that?
To make it simple, this is a naturally occurring peptide that occurs in the gastric juices that stops the body's inflammatory cascade. Much like we've seen from steroids that the body heals itself. This is a signaling peptide that stops where something is inflamed. So we do know that obesity is an inflammatory dysfunction. So getting to that root cause of it, anything we can do to reduce that inflammation by removing those allergenic foods or removing the things that are inflammatory. But also if you have an additional peptide that's connected with it, it enhances the effect. That's what makes your program so much different than everybody else's, that it's really going to the root cause of what's causing people's weight gain to begin with.
Absolutely.
So putting all these together with the diet training all together will get people on a course for changing their health forever.
Absolutely. And that is so exciting because we just
long term,
yes,
not short term.
We have not had that opportunity. And so, this does, and these medications, we keep saying medications, but really they are peptides. They are peptides that occur in our bodies that we naturally have, and we are replacing that because a lot of that is missing due to the inflammatory processes, the way we eat and our lifestyle choices and all. So this is something that we are just replacing, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to offer something near natural, really. Of course, it's, yeah.
And if I could just clarify just for a point, because I have people call me all the time. He says, well, what's a peptide?
Right.
Good. Where does it come from?
Yes.
We're getting into biochemistry, and we assume everybody understands these terms.
Yeah, true.
But these amino acids, these unique building blocks of proteins, these amino acids that were naturally occurring, but when you couple them together or bolt them together, they come up with we call as the sequencing is a peptide. So they are synthetically derived. They're not derived from corn or from other allergenic substances.
Right.
They are put together in a sequence of amino acids. So the body actually is able to see them and break them down. And
something the body can read, so the body knows what it is. It recognizes it.
That's right. Well, many synthetic drugs are put together to be able to attach to receptors, and also that are novel products that can easily be patented. And the body doesn't understand what to do with them, and this is where all these side effects occur.
Right, from the synthetics.
So the things that are simpler, the things that are molecules are smaller, the body doesn't have many side effects for. So that's what we like.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, if you're having 3 quarts of ice cream a day and you sometimes have a 6-pack of beer on top of it, this is not going to help you.
No.
And so you'd be surprised. Some people want it all.
Right.
So that's the first thing we have to do. We have to make some changes.
Absolutely. So, how can people get in touch with us and get started on this? Because we can do this. We're offering it.
I think to get started, to call your office would be the first place to get started.
Absolutely.
You can also get started on our metabolic code questionnaire. You can check it out on our website, pdlabsrx.com, and it's a free. Call us and we'll get you the free questionnaire to get started so that you can understand where what are some of the areas you need to reconstruct,
right,
so to speak.
Well, we have made it easy. That's a lot of different ways to get in touch. So you can call my office at 210-698-7825. All of that information plus Ray's information with pdlabsrx.com is on my website at drpbetterlife.com. There's a contact form on there where you can just type in your tiny little bit of information. It sends me an email. It comes right to me, and then I reach it back out to you, and I can just funnel you in very easily about how to get started. These medications through the pharmaceutical industry, about $1,200 a month, sometimes more, and this is very, very different. that we can get this more affordable for you. And so that is something we want to work with you on. So please reach out, drpbetterlife.com and or pdlabsrx.com. You can reach Ray and ask them for all of their information and guidance on getting started, and that will get you into the metabolic code system and help you. Like you said, it's a free questionnaire, and that's always great. Free is always great, but it's a free questionnaire. So if you qualify, we'll put you in and get you running on your new life for the new year. Because I mean, the new year is coming up, right? Everybody wants to get started.
Excuses. There's no excuses now.
No excuses now.
It's easy. It's less side effects than it was before.
Right.
The only thing is a little bit of effort and commitment that you're ready to do it. That's it. Just make a commitment.
And I think a lot of people have that commitment ability. I think they just have, run into brick wall after brick wall, obstacle after obstacle, trying to get going. So we really want to set this straight for people and allow them to get something that's very easy to use once a week. Very easy to use, something way more affordable, something that is a lot less side effects, a lot less problematic, and on top of that, give you a guide as to how to do it, eat right and all of that. So we definitely are making it easy. Love it.
Okay.
So, here we go. We're already at the end of the 28 minutes that we do, the end of the show. So drpbetterlife.com, pdlabsrx.com. Ray, as always, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Have a great and happy new year. And
you too.
We'll talk again soon.